Join us on Patreon and become part of our journey to uncover history's untold stories. Your support helps us create in-depth content, bring hidden narratives to life, and keep history alive for everyone.
There are some stories so strange, so ancient, and so enduring that they slip quietly between the cracks of recorded history, whispered not from textbooks or pulpits, but preserved in sacred mountains, oral chants, and manuscripts bound in goat skin and inked with mystery. Among these stories, few are more haunting than that of Enoch, the seventh man from Adam, the prophet who, according to both biblical and extra-biblical traditions, walked with God and vanished. Unlike the others in his generation, Enoch never faced death. He simply disappeared. The Bible says, Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. But that simple phrase hides a deeper mystery, one that Ethiopia, Africa's spiritual ark, has guarded for centuries. In Ethiopia, where Christianity came not by colonization but by revelation, the story of Enoch is far from over. In fact, he's still alive, still moving through realms unseen, still part of a divine plan that has yet to unfold. To grasp why this matters, one must travel far beyond the pages of the modern Western Bible. Ethiopia, unlike the churches of Europe, preserved books that the Council of Nicaea rejected, buried, or deemed heretical. The Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church, one of the oldest Christian institutions on earth, still includes the Book of Enoch, also called 1 Enoch, in its canon. Written in Ge'ez, an ancient Semitic language older than Arabic and Hebrew, the text predates most of the New Testament. And in its pages, Enoch becomes more than a man. He becomes a divine intermediary, a scribe of the heavens, a watcher of the watchers. His story becomes inseparable from the architecture of prophecy and the end of days. While the Western world forgot him, Ethiopia remembered. Carved into monasteries atop rugged cliffs, recited by candlelight during night vigils, and inked by priests in monasteries hidden from time, the story of Enoch endures like a river beneath stone. Enoch, according to Ethiopian belief, was taken by God not simply to escape death, but to be preserved for a divine mission. In Ethiopian apocalyptic tradition, he's not merely gone. He is waiting, alive, watching, positioned beyond human time, in the realm of God, until the appointed hour of reckoning. To understand how Ethiopia came to hold such a view, we must explore the survival of the Book of Enoch itself. The text, lost to Europe for over 1,000 years, survived only in Ge'ez in the highlands of Ethiopia. It wasn't until Scottish explorer James Bruce brought copies back to Europe in the 18th century that the West even remembered it existed. Before that, it had been quoted by early church fathers like Tertullian and Clement of Alexandria, and even seems to be referenced in the New Testament's Book of Jude. But the Roman Church, in shaping the biblical canon, considered it too radical, perhaps too revealing, and it was excluded. Ethiopia, however, untouched by Rome's editorial hand, kept it safe. In this ancient Ethiopian version, Enoch is taken by angels to the heavens, where he is shown the secrets of creation, the courses of the stars, the abode of the dead, and the destiny of the righteous and the wicked. He becomes the witness of all cosmic things, transformed not into an angel, but something altogether more mysterious. Metatron, the great scribe of God in later mystical traditions. In the Kabbalah of the Jews, and in early Christian mysticism influenced by Ethiopian and Egyptian cosmology, Metatron is a being of power and proximity to the divine throne. But in Ethiopia, he is still Enoch, a man who lives. The deeper one delves into Ethiopian prophecies, the more intriguing Enoch's story becomes. In texts preserved by Ethiopian monks such as the Book of the Mysteries of Heaven and Earth and the Ascension of Isaiah, there are hints that Enoch, along with the prophet Elijah, who is also said to be taken up alive, will return in the last days to confront the Antichrist. This belief echoes the ancient interpretation that these two men, never having tasted death, must fulfill the universal law of mortality before the end. But unlike Elijah, whose story is more widely known, Enoch's presence in Ethiopian end-time prophecy is more profound. He is a gatekeeper, a reminder of what humanity once was and could be again. In the Ethiopian tradition, Enoch becomes a model of incorruptibility. He is the scribe of righteousness, the prototype of the just man in a fallen world. In contrast to the sin and violence of the Nephilim and the Watchers who fell from grace, Enoch is the faithful one. His elevation to the heavenly realms is not a reward but a mission. He is entrusted with the secrets of judgment, of astronomy, of language, of the calendar, the very mechanisms by which time and fate unfold. His ongoing life in this tradition is not passive. It is intercessory. In the Ethiopian apocalyptic imagination, he records the deeds of men, intercedes with God, and prepares for the final reckoning. Some Ethiopian sources even suggest that Enoch's continued existence isn't confined to a distant celestial realm. They propose that he exists in a hidden place, not unlike the concealed city of Zion or the secret realm of Agartha and other esoteric traditions. These are not physical locations in the way we understand them. They are realms behind the veil, where time folds and divine purposes brew like storms waiting to break. And from there, Enoch, they believe, watches. When we consider the symbolism, the power of Enoch's story becomes undeniable. In a world obsessed with death and decay, Enoch represents continuity. In a civilization whose spiritual traditions were often severed by colonialism and historical violence, Ethiopia's unbroken memory of Enoch is not just religious, it is revolutionary. It offers a counter-narrative, a challenge to Eurocentric Christian timelines and assumptions. And it restores Africa, not Europe, as the preserver of the oldest prophecies of humankind. Even the calendar testifies to Ethiopia's radical difference. Ethiopia maintains its own time, following an ancient Julian calendar that is 7 to 8 years behind the Gregorian one. In their reckoning, they are still in the early 21st century. Their time itself echoes a different understanding of prophecy and destiny. Enoch, after all, was shown the true calendar of heaven, and the Ethiopian Church's liturgical cycle, filled with apocryphal readings, heavenly visions, and elaborate fasts, seems to echo that celestial order. There are those who scoff at such stories, dismissing them as folklore or theological fantasy. But the question remains, why did the early church revere Enoch? Why did his book disappear from the canon, only to reappear in the hands of Ethiopians who never let go of it? And why do ancient Guizi manuscripts still speak of his role in the final days? Perhaps it is because Enoch's story still matters. It challenges modern assumptions about death, about divine justice, and about who truly holds the keys to humanity's ancient wisdom. Perhaps it's because Ethiopia, in guarding the flame of Enoch, has preserved a message the rest of the world wasn't ready to hear. A message that says, not all prophets die, not all wisdom fades, and not all truths can be silenced. Somewhere, in a realm just beyond the sight of men, Enoch still walks. And one day, if Ethiopian prophecy is to be believed, he will return.